only people that are suffering from chronic pain, chronic illnesses, and unexplained medical conditions. This podcast, Healing Conversations for Anything Chronic, is here mainly to spread the word around natural healing for chronic conditions. So today, where is my guest? That is a good question. My guest couldn't make it today, and so we are quickly reverting into a solo performance today. And I thought I'd take this opportunity to talk a little bit more about what it is that I do, why it's effective, and why I can say that really healing is an inside job, and why it's to do more with emotions than structural situations. So let's dive in. So a lot of the time, I know that people that say have chronic conditions, it starts. There is a journey, right? There is always a journey. First of all, you're feeling fine. You're going through life as you are, and you go through stresses at work, maybe a relationship, money. There's not not we're not limited in the number of things that can stress us out. So you go through life, and then one day you feel unwell, or you feel that there is something that is not quite right. You make your way to the doctor, and after some tests and situations, you maybe come up with a diagnosis, and now you have a label. And what tends to happen is that people get very caught up with this label. They read everything about it that they can, online, Dr. Google. They try and have all of these conversations, and they get fixated on how many people have healed. Do they have enough way of healing? What are the success stories? What are my chances, or all that kind of stuff? Now, fair enough, right? This is our nature. This is what we do. But I want to talk a little bit more about the fears. I want to talk about putting this kind of fears into your energy field, energy into your psyche, and really why we don't have to go down this route. So all you think about is, what am I to do about it? Who else have healed? Who can I speak with? You're changing all of your attention from from the real thing. You're focusing all of your attention on fear, because now everything that you can think about is, what will happen if I don't heal? How much worse can my situation get? How many people have survived? What are the doctors saying? So basically what happens is that you're finding yourself narrowing your attention. It's all about the fear, the worry, the stress, the what ifs. Now, what I want to say is that we need to look not at where you are right now moving forward. We actually want to look backwards. We want to go back to that place where you started with the stress and the belief that you didn't have a choice, or that things were just too overwhelming. And usually what we will find is that there is a starting point. Maybe it was 6 months ago when you got fired from your job, or maybe it was when you were 3 years old and you were in an abusive situations. There is always something that is taking us out of who we used to be, who we're meant to be, and where we are right now. So basically what I'm saying is that when we get the diagnosis, instead of looking forward and into the fear of, oh my God, what's happening, we really want to start looking back and see what happened to us, what happened that we couldn't see, or that we believed something about a situation. So what I'm trying to say is that we too often we go through stresses that we don't acknowledge. Now, the stress is obviously something that we feel, and then there's emotions that we are not noticing, or not acknowledging, or not processing. And all of these things, basically, they come up, and we are repressing them, and we are we're bottling them up. And now we are creating a problem in our bodies, because at some point, the body is going to say, I cannot take this anymore. I need an outlet. And because you're not listening to my messages that I keep sending you, now I'm going to have to give you a message. And the message is usually this chronic conditions, be them what they be. So this is why I'm saying there is an emotional root cause, because I want to go back there and I want to understand what scares you. What is it that you are doing because you're believing that you have no other way? Now, I want to talk a little bit about what it means to get back into alignment. That's the number one thing that I want to talk about. And then I also want to explain a little bit about the personality types that are more likely to become, to suffer from chronic conditions, and what it all means. So the alignment, it is of course all connected. Um, but when I have a conversation with a new client, for example, the clients that come to me for the coaching and the healing, we start by looking at fears. What is it that they're doing in life that is coming out of fear? Where do you believe that you have no choice? I think I said that now about 4 times already, so it must be something that I say a lot. But where do you believe that you have no choice? Where are the limitations? Where are the compromises? Where are you actually listening to your negative voice, the one that is telling you that you have no choice, instead of listening to your voice, the voice of alignment, the voice of empowerment, the voice of your intuition, your, what I call, the unconscious mind? So I always say, and I always start this every session, I start with this kind of conversation. And I say to you, I said to everyone who wants to listen, that we have two voices. On the one hand, it should be whichever side the one hand is. On the one hand, we have the unconscious mind, and this is the realm of the emotions and the feelings and the creativity. The unconscious mind has very many different jobs. One job that I like most is the one that says that it has the blueprint of the best version of yourself, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Now, this unconscious mind, it always sits on your shoulder and tells you, it actually tries to guide you towards the best version of yourself. So it says things like, do this, do that, don't eat this, eat that. It constantly, it is there. It is very aware, very involved in what is going on with you every moment of every day. So all the time, it is trying to direct you, to guide you in the right direction that will get you back into alignment, into that best version of yourself. Now, the problem is that we also have the other voice, that is, of course, the conscious mind. The conscious mind is the realm of the thoughts, everything that is logical and practical and realistic. It's everything that is linear and everything that has to make sense. Now, the conscious mind is also the house of the infamous negative voice. Now, the negative voice has only one job, and that is for you to do today exactly what you've done yesterday, because it wants to preserve you. So if you did it yesterday and you survived, go ahead, be my guest. You can do it again today. But if you haven't done it yesterday, or you haven't done it enough, the negative voice says, hang on, I don't know. You may survive or you may not. I can't take this risk because, of course, I'm on commission, and I need my bonus, my daily or yearly bonus. And so I'm going to stop you. I'm going to say to you, it is not safe. You better stay exactly where you are. Now, what it basically does, it brings up all of the lies and all of the fears and all of the situation that you say, I'm going to fail. I don't want to do this. It's too scary. You actually start believing this negative voice. And what it did, in a sense, was put you very beautifully into your comfort zone. And now it knows you won't move, you won't budge, and you're going to be protected. So now we have a clash. We have the unconscious mind that knows everything about you and says, hey, just do it. It's wonderful. You can do it. And the unconscious mind doesn't need, it's not linear. It's very, out there. So it just says, I don't care about the details. I don't care who and why and where and when. I just say, I need you to get out there. Take the first step and I'll look after you. I'll make sure that you're safe. I'll bring in the right people. I'll bring in the right opportunities. I'll take care of everything. You just take the first step. The unconscious mind is very vast. It's very quiet because it knows everything about you. It knows that it doesn't need to, do all singing, all dancing kind of thing. But then we have the negative voice, and the negative voice is very, very loud. Doesn't know anything about you. I always say it doesn't even know what you had for breakfast yesterday, but it is so the formula is so clear in its mind. If you've done it, go for it. If you haven't, then don't. Then as soon as you come up with these excited ideas, of, yes, this is exactly what I want to do, it says, well, we're not doing it. So basically, we have a clash: the unconscious mind that knows everything, the negative voice that doesn't know anything, and now we clash. The unconscious mind, of course, is always stronger, but the negative voice is very loud. And because we are so used to the negative conversations coming up, it's basically, comparing a motorway of doom versus a string of, enlightenment. So this clash happens to us all the time, all the time, all the time, all the time. Now, in times of stress, it's very, it's very sad, but this is very true, that we are constantly moving towards the negative voice. So we start believing that we have no choice. We actually believe that this is as good as best as it's going to get, and we believe that we have to worry, and that everything has to be an effort, everything has to be, take time, money, effort, whatever. And we forget that actually there is another opportunity or another way of doing things, which is in flow. So the unconscious mind, it really, it just says that you just do it. I'm here, I've excited you enough because I know that this is the right thing for you. Now, let me just clarify and say that when I say this is the right thing for you, it doesn't always mean that you're going to get exactly what you wanted, but it means that you're going to get the right thing, the best lesson that will take you either to what you wanted or to the next thing in line. Basically, it's either taking you from A to B, or it's taking you from A to B so that you can get into C. You can't go from A to C directly. So, in the conversation that I'm having with people, I always want to ask them, what is going on, what is triggering you right now. I used to do this before I started the healing, and I was walking, I was calling myself a confidence and empowerment coach, and this is what I did, was really finding where you are lacking confidence and empowerment and bringing you back into this alignment. Nowadays I'm taking the same thing and I'm putting it on the healing, and especially with chronic conditions, because I can make this connection that a lot of the time the chronic conditions that you're suffering from are not a life sentence. They're not even, meant to be here. They're only meant for you to pause, to reassess, go back to the roots and find out what is it that you're doing that is out of alignment. So this brings us very nicely to the personality types of people that are more likely to get chronic conditions. And I'll just talk a little bit about each of them, and then let's see where it gets us. So I guess the number one on the list is people pleasers. People pleasers are people, of course, that like you and me, and what they do is that they basically they cancel themselves, and they want to do everything for the other person. They will invest money, time, effort, and a lot more to make the other person pleased, on their expense. But it's not really something, it's not as positive as me, not seeing me, not loving me, that I will do anything and everything that I can to keep this conversation going, to keep this connection going. Now, basically, it means that even, if I, even if what I'm about to do is exactly the opposite of what I feel like doing, the manager said, I need a deck, a 2 slides deck for the presentation tomorrow. But she had this belief that actually the manager didn't just want 2 slides. That liking the job or thinking this is the right thing to do, because she believed that the believed that this is what the boss would want, and she was willing to sacrifice her time and her efforts to create it, to make it happen. Now, the problem, of course, is that the boss, the manager, didn't really constantly feel not good enough because the efforts that we spend, they don't get the thank you or the recognition that are not good for us. They're not even good for the people that we are doing it for, because it's for the wrong reason. Can you lend me a hand? Can you help? Whatever, whatever. And then I will get a very nice thank you. So you see that if you are a people pleaser, you are not what will happen if you don't do it, and they won't invite you again, or they will dismiss you or reject you. The other type of people, very similar, are people that put other people's needs ahead of themselves. So and note for myself, yes, so of course there's a perfectionists even. So people who are perfectionists, they all the time need to make sure that everything is perfect. And it's not something that they do consciously, it's something that they do subconsciously. They don't even understand, or even if they understand that they are perfectionists, they don't understand to what degree, and they don't understand how much energy of the waking days is spent on trying to make things perfect. Now, when you try and make things perfect, most often well, I just want to say you really need to understand that there is no such thing as perfect. Because even if something is perfect right now, you come back next week and you think, what was I thinking? It is not at all to standards or whatever it is. When you are a perfectionist, you have this kind of belief that you can control everything, that you can decide and see and make sure that everything is okay. Remember, it's also connected with people pleasing, because you want to make sure that everything is okay for you, but also for others. So the idea that someone else is going to come in and say, "Oh, what were you thinking?" is it's unbearable. So again, perfectionists, they're always going on very high stress, very high stress level. Let me think of who else do I want to say. Um, yeah, I think so you put everyone else, you all the time, on the go. Now, if you are also, control freak, this is also another type of stress, because in the same manner, you say to yourself, you have these kind of conversations with yourself that says, if I don't do it, it's not going to be good enough. Now, if it's not going to be good enough, I have to do it, because I can't fathom this thing not being perfect or good enough or the way that I want it. So in a sense, there is a lot of extra all the time, paying attention, all the time worrying so much about what would people say, what will people think, how will it come about, all of that kind of stuff. Now, I, I feel it when I speak about all of these things. I feel my own energy is becoming exhausted, because it's so external. It's so all about other people. What will they say? What will they think? How will they accept me? Will they reject me? Will they love me? Will all of that? Now, the problem is, of course, that these kind of traits, they're not, you didn't choose them. Well, you did choose them, but you didn't choose them consciously, and definitely not as an adult. These things, they come as, coping mechanisms, because when you were way young, very, very young, you made some decisions about the way that you should be for people, for, for survival, for people to love you, and for you to receive love, attention, or care. So, if you realize when you were two that when you do something nice, when you, I don't know, tidy up your toys, you get a smile very quickly, because we so need this kind of attention and love, and, being validated. In no time at all, people pleasing will be your thing. Now, if same thing with controlling, right? If you notice that if someone else is doing something and then you get the blame, you will very quickly make the decision that you are going to be, you need to be in control. You are the one that is going to have the last word. You're the one that is going to make sure that everything is in order, because when you give it to other people, it doesn't work. It doesn't work properly. So when I have the conversations with my clients, and usually my preferred way of working with people is to do the 2 hour session, the 1 hour of conversations, followed by the 1 hour of healing. And I will talk about the healing in a minute. But in the conversation part, we really look at what is triggering you right now. And that is my first question. And people will say, he said, she said, how they behave towards me, what they say, it's always, a lot of the time, it's very, very external. So we look at how other people are interacting with us, and conclude, of course, that we're not good enough, or that there's a lot of stress, or we don't know what to do. One thing that a lot of the time people say is basically, I know that I'm not doing what I want to do, but I haven't managed to get there. And I'm so worried of doing something that will send me even further back, that I'm basically staying where I am at the moment. This is very much a negative conversation. The negative voice says to you, hey, if you do this, it will get worse, or it will, you will be rejected, or you will fail, or whatever. So you see, we're constantly having these two voices coming at us all the time. Unconscious mind says, hey, just go and do it, it's okay, I'm here to look after you. And then we have the negative voice that says, don't do it, it's going to be terrible, you won't be able to recover, it's going to be a catastrophe, just stay put, don't go, do not leave this comfort zone. Now, the comfort zone, of course, by the way, is very comfortable, but it is super boring, and nothing good ever happens from within the comfort zone. Why? Because we still have these pings of desire of doing something that is fully in alignment, for us. Right. So what I want to say next is looking again at alignment. So what is triggering you? When I ask that question, I want to see really, where are you operating from fears, limitations, and compromises? And in no time, we will find, what is it that is actually holding you back. I had a conversation, just thinking what example I can give you, but I had a conversation, because the question that I'm asking is always, how come this triggering is happening right now? And what I mean by that is that all of a sudden you notice that something is not happening, is not going well as you would like it. And so now you are in turmoil. But I'm saying, how come it happened right now? Or how come you're noticing it right now? And it can be also, a long time ago, how come it happened back then? This is a good question to ask, because what it basically means is that for some reason, you're now noticing the eruption. This thing that is triggering you now, believe me, I guarantee it, is a pattern of things that happened to you so many times before in your life, and you got triggered, of course, but you didn't notice it. But now you do. So now let's look at not what they are doing and how they're behaving and how they make you feel, because people can't make you feel anything. It's already how you feel about yourself. But let's not go external, let's go internal and really look at what it is that you believe about things. Now, if you are saying, I'm I I'm worried that if I don't do this, people won't accept me, for example, then you see again how everything is geared towards external. What will happen if they don't like me or if they don't accept me? Well, what about them? How come they're not worrying about you accepting them or liking them or not rejecting them? You see, in our way of doing things, we are just so used to looking at external sources and completely forget that we have our powers as well. So when we look at alignment, we want to see, what do you believe about yourself? Where do you believe that you're not good enough? Where do you believe that you're unlovable, that you are, that you'll never make it? Where do you believe that everyone else is better and have everything and you don't? These beliefs, a belief is a thought that happens again and again and again until it becomes so automatic and so used that you don't even notice it. So all of these beliefs, they've been going on for a while. Now they say that we have about 90,000 thoughts a day. About, I think, 80% of them are negative, and most of them have been already used yesterday. So we just keep repeating all this negativity on automat. And actually, when do we ever say, this is how I'm intending to move forward? This is what I feel that is better for me. We don't get to do this because everything is on such an automat. So again, when we are talking about alignment, we are going back to basic. We are going back to a place that is simple and quiet, and with a pause, and in a place where there's no need. There is just expansion. There is joy. There is what feels right. So we're no longer operating from our heads. We are actually really operating from our hearts. And our heart, unconscious mind, things are kind of getting, different titles every now and again. But they know, because they know you without all of this negative conversation and the fears and the, actually I've been doing that, so I'll go back to this side. So the heart and the unconscious mind, they know everything about you at your roots level. They don't operate from the minds and the fears and the anxiety and the worry and the stress and all of these things that might happen, never happen, could happen, something or other. So we talk about things as coming back, basically bringing you back to your lane, to do things your way. Now, one of the biggest stresses that people tell me about is when they compare themselves to others. They they will sit in the office, for example, and they will look at someone else and they will see how brilliant this other person is, and they will conclude that they are, and just like that, they can start here, but when as soon as they see this other person, the confidence go down, 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 down. It's not only the confidence, they also believe. They look at themselves and say, I'm not good enough, I'm not as well spoken, or I'm not as well, I'm not as good at presenting, or I'm not as good as, and in no time at all, the confidence is on the floor. And they don't believe in themselves, and what happens? Stress, and more stress, and more stress, and more stress. And I say to people, but why are you comparing yourself to others? You are you, they are them. Yes, when you go to the office, there is an idea of what is acceptable in an office, for example, but it doesn't mean that everyone needs to be the same. Absolutely not. Imagine how boring it would be if everyone was the same. Instead, we want to look at you and bring out your unique talents and strengths and gifts and everything that you don't see, but others are looking at you and they are so envious because you are so amazing. And I'm saying that because you are so amazing. And actually, you forgot that you are amazing. And it's not about, are you as amazing as other people? No, it's, are you as amazing as you are, as you can be, as you used to be, when you decided that you're not good enough and that no one can ever love you or like you or respect you. So you see that these kind of fears, they take hold of all of you, and they bring in so much stress. And if you don't know how to take this stress out, how to express it, and if instead you are bottling it up, at some point your body needs to say, I can't take it anymore. So I'll just mention very briefly something about journaling, because a lot of the time when we're talking about how do I express my emotions and stuff, it sounds very easy, but of course it's not, because it's not, we're not used to it. We have no idea how to really express everything that is going on inside of us because we've never done it. And also we were always so worried that people would, judge us and reject us, and all of this fear of social acceptance and all of that. One amazing way of expressing is journaling. And I must admit that I don't journal. I don't do it at all. But I speak to myself all the time, in the shower mainly, if you have to know. But journaling is really an incredible way to express, because really no one is going to read it. It's just for you. But also, it doesn't matter. You just start. You just start. You're right. Today was Tuesday, and I ate a banana for lunch. And you keep it up, and in no time at all, you noticing that you say, actually, when I was 5, this happened and that happened, and and you are starting to allow yourself to explore things that consciously, like, certain ways. One way, um, and I have done that before. If there is that you constantly noticing that you're having conversation, usually about injustice of some sort, I say, write a letter. Do not send it. I repeat, write a letter. Do not send it. Do not write their name. Nothing. This is just for you. But you write a letter, and you basically say to that person in the letter everything that you feel that they've wrong did, wrong done, or did wrong, or whatever the word is, in every way that they were unfair, in every way that they hurt you, in every way that they made you feel something or other. Because these things, again, they are connected to how we used to be when we were very little, and if we didn't know how to deal with these things then, we don't know how to deal with these things now. So yeah, we can't say you didn't, if I'm talking to a parent, to my parents as an example, and I say it was your job to make me feel safe and you didn't, I can be angry about that. I can be frustrated because, hey, look what happened afterwards. In the letter, you write everything that bugs you, everything that you want to say that you would never say to someone's face. You say it all. And then, and you don't leave anything unturned. You really clear your system. And then you burn it, or you throw it away. You don't leave it out there for people to find, because it will go wrong. But the other thing that you do afterwards is you write another letter. And this letter can be just one paragraph if that's what it needs. But this paragraph would say, here are all the good things that I've learned because of all the difficult situation that we've had between us. And this is really important because it acknowledges that you're no victim. It acknowledges that out of all of this hardship, you found your way to be you. You found a way to bring some positive into a very challenging time. So writing, again, in the paragraph as well, of course, you burn or you destroy. You don't need anyone to see it. This is just for you. And the good thing is that you already start to feel a release. So if you have pain, and the pain, when you feel pain, what we usually do is we go, hey, I need a pill. Oh, I need to sort it. I need to go and fix it. And I'm saying, when you feel the pain, you don't need to fix it, you need to release it. So find something to write, go into nature, start painting, use colors, listen to uplifting music. Someone I interviewed, someone some time ago, her name was Adele Stratton, and she was telling her story, and she said, when I was in pain, she was talking about ruptured thoracic something or other. She said, I would just say to myself, pain, pain is resistance. Pain is resistance. Pain is resistance. And and the funny thing is that, well, she healed herself from something that is completely, unheard of. Um, but this is so beautiful, because when you start saying pain is resistance, what you're doing is you're separating between the negative voice and your unconscious mind. So your unconscious mind knows how to heal you. I mean, that's what we do. Bodies, we heal ourselves. But we have the fear, the monkey mind, the whatever mind you want to call it. It says to you, you are in pain, you have to fix it. This is terrible. It's going to get worse. What if this is much worse than we knew? What if it's never going to go away? What if actually it's not what they told me, but it's this plus this plus this? This negative mind is putting so much pressure and so much anxiety onto your system that you live in instead of stress and anxiety. But when you say pain is resistance as an example, and I'm sure you could use other mantras as well, you're separating that, and you remind your unconscious mind that it can heal you. You're starting to separate between the layers of anxiety and that the truth that you have inside of you. And basically you allow yourself the chance to heal as you know that you can. Right. So we've spoken a lot about fears and anxiety and how we can so easily get out of alignments when we are all out there towards other people, and we don't forget, or we do forget, or we don't remember that actually we have knowing, we have a way of being that is completely unique and powerful and wonderful, that if we only allowed ourselves to get out there, we we will not be in stress, in a sense. But I just want to mention briefly about the healing that I do, because this is very much connected. So I use the emotion code, body code, and belief code to work with people suffering from chronic conditions and other people. To be honest, everyone is suffering from something these days. Um, all of these are basically looking at trapped emotions or misalignments or something, blockages in the energy field that are making us feel physically, emotionally, spiritually, mentally unwell. And so I connect with you. Then your subconscious mind is saying to me, look, this layer is interfering and I can't heal the body. So if you take it away, I can get there. Now, the emotion code is really releasing trapped emotions from around the body. And you will feel a difference in how you are when you release trapped emotions. There is something that is called the heart wall. The heart wall is your body's way of saying, look, you are too fragile and I can't send you into the world unprotected. I'm going to grab trapped emotions from around the body and build a wall around your heart. And it does that. And now you're more protected. There is a distance between yourself and the events that you're going through. So you're more protected. But on the other hand, you're also living from behind the wall. So maybe you feel like you're an outsider. Maybe you feel like you can't connect with people in quite the same way. Maybe you feel lonely. Maybe it's very dark or depressing, whatever being from, living from behind the wall might look like. So when we clear the heart wall, we are clearing all of these, the layers of the wall. And you notice an incredible change inside of you. You all of a sudden you feel light, and you feel more calm. You feel like everything is actually not as bad as it used to be or as you thought it was. So if you never done anything like that and you don't know if energy healing is for you, come and let's talk about clearing your heart wall, because this will be it's incredible. People feel different afterwards, and it doesn't matter if we release 5 emotions or if we release 50, you will feel a change. Of course, the 50 will be better because there's more light coming in. The body code is similar to the emotion code, but it's looking really at misalignments in the body, toxins, pathogens. What is the underlying cause of these things, of your chronic headaches, of your cancer, of your burning sensations, of your chronic fatigue? So we're looking at anything that the subconscious mind is going to give us. It knows exactly how you got to this place, so it also knows how to fix you, in a sense. And then the last one is the belief code, and the belief code is really interesting because it's identifying limiting beliefs that you have from years and years and years ago that have created a blind drive for you. So you don't know why you're doing things, or you don't know why things are not going your way. But now we're going to identify it, release it, and now you don't have this belief system anymore. So things are starting to move differently. So things like, yes, I will never heal myself, or I'll never get better, or money doesn't love me, or I can never find the right person, or I'll never feel safe. Whatever it is, when you hear yourself saying these statements, you know that it's limiting belief. So then we're releasing limiting beliefs. We're releasing the trapped emotions that are connected to these beliefs, and we're also releasing things that are tying you to the past. And all in all, we are releasing a whole system, and now you have room for new, positive, empowering, new changes in your life. Yeah. So, is there anything else that I want to share today? I will go away and I will think to myself, oh, I didn't say this, I didn't say that. So I'll just double check with my notes. Um, yeah, I think I've said pretty much everything that I was hoping to say today. But I will mention that people come to me and they either do just the coaching or just the healing or the combination. In my opinion, from what I've seen with people, the combination is better. And if you want to work with me, you can choose. You can choose a one-off 2-hour session, or you can do the preferred method, which is 10 sessions together. It's preferred because we can build up on the history. Yesterday, I was working with someone on enlarged prostate, and this is the third session that we've been doing on that. And after the first 2 times, he's seen really big differences in how his business is going. So yesterday we did the third session on the prostate, and things came up that you know you would have imagined that it would have come up straight away, but it didn't. It came up, for things to get cleared on the third session. So that's why I'm saying, if we are building on one on top of the other, we have the history. We are building on top of things, so we can get in session 3 into places that we couldn't get in session 1. And I suggest, come up with curiosity. Don't come up with the idea that it took you years to get sick, but now one session will heal you. I don't know, I've seen everything. But not yesterday, the other day, I was in conversations on the Facebook group, and someone said, hey, did you ever work with anyone, did you heal eczema successfully? And this person was saying that he's been working with someone for 5 sessions or 8 sessions, and it hasn't cleared yet. And then I thought, I cleared my daughter's eczema in after 1 session. So you see, we don't know, anything can happen. But if you come to a session and it's not happening as quickly as you imagined, then we need to have more conversations, because at some point we need to see, what is it that your subconscious mind not letting you do. Let me just tell you one little story of why I started with the energy healing. So, like I told you before, I all the time talk about the unconscious mind. People call it subconscious mind. Let's stick with the subconscious mind for now when we're talking about the healing. So the subconscious mind knows everything about you, and it knows how you got to this situation, illness, condition, and it also knows how to heal you. It is a given. If it was able to, it knows how it created, it knows how to heal you. That is not a question. So one day I was watching a seminar with Dr. Bradley Nelson, and he's the one that invented the emotion code and body code, etc. And he was saying that, and I was like, he's talking about the subconscious mind. He's talking my language. Not many people, do that. And so I got very curious, and I bought the book, The Emotion Code, which of course you can buy as well and practice on yourself. That's very much encouraged. And then as I was reading the book, one of my clients called, and she said that her daughter she witnessed a fatal accident, and she was very shaken and really, really upset. And can I talk with her? And I was like, yeah, I'll talk with her. But I was worried, because I was thinking, how can I help, really? but we spoke, and she did calm down a little bit, and things were better. And then 2 weeks later, the client, my mum, her mum, called me again and said, actually, she was better, and now she's again worse. And can you do anything? And by that time, I started reading the book, and I was a little bit more aware of the emotion code and stuff. And I said, well, let's see if there is a trapped emotion here. So I asked if it was okay if we tried this, and she said yes. And I checked with muscle testing. Actually, I got her to do the muscle testing at that point to do a sway test. Anyway, we found that yes, she did have a trapped emotion, and I can't remember right now if it was shock or terror or something along those lines. And so we found this emotion that was connected to this accident, and we released it. And you should have seen the change in this girl's face. It was unbelievable. It was day and night. It was like a cloud just lifted. And as soon as the emotion left, the color came back to her cheeks. She was lively again. She was happy. She was just the person she was before the accident. And when I saw that, I knew that this was something that I had to do. And it was I have goosebumps every time I think about it. So for me, it was a very easy proof that actually, there's so much that is going on around us, and we go through events, we go through trauma, and if we don't know how to stays stuck in our bodies, and it does influence how we are, how we behave, how we think, also how we heal, and then later on how we heal. So this is my belief. Anyway, I am so grateful for you for being here in the live or in the recording. If you have any questions about anything that I've spoken about today here, then please do get in touch. I'd love to have a conversation with you. Connect, have a conversation, see if we can fit together and walk together, or if not, still, come and connect. It would be wonderful. Yeah, and I hope that you allow yourself to take in all of this, because I've seen people with chronic conditions, pain and illness, that when they went back, when they go back into alignment, when they let go of the fears and the limitations and the compromises, the chronic conditions fell by the wayside. They were no longer needed, because that message of whatever it is that they were out of alignment was finally received. So really, if you think, hey, I don't know, can I believe it? Can I not believe it? Don't worry about it. Your negative voice is going to tell you that you shouldn't listen to it. And I say, there is no, it's not a coincidence that we are meeting here, that we are here together now. Just give me a call. Who knows? It doesn't need to mean anything. It doesn't need to lead anywhere, as long as you're taking the first step and you're putting this out there, that this can be a possibility. That's all I'm saying, all I'm asking, all of that. Thank you so much for being here with me today. Have a wonderful rest of the day. And I will see you soon next week. Healing Conversation is back on Thursday. I'll see you soon. Bye.